Hello, hello, everyone. Patriot 5 and Patriot 6. Sorry, we're a little bit late. Ron told me about something that he wanted me to check out just before the show started. So let's welcome Janet and Ron and David and Papa G. And Papa G, thank you for them heart-filled messages you sent to me the other day. You know, buddy, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. And the fact that you was there taking care of your mom and visiting, it made me jealous because I can't do that. We have Jeffrey and Papa David, and I think I've read all of these, but guys, I'm thankful that everybody showed up here tonight. We have 19 people. Never do care about the numbers. All I care about is the people who show up here because I know that you care for Ron and you care for myself. So, to be honest with you, where we're at, I can't not tell you. I'm going to give you some ideas. I'm going to talk about what I did the other night in my special update, and I kind of took some backlash for that because I guess people can't stand the fact that no matter what they do to me, as the song said, they can't bring me down. Do I get depressed? Yeah, but you'll never see it. Do I get upset? Every now and then I let that show here. But see, people that follow us that really aren't followers are just these kind of people that come in here just to stir up crap. You know, they're the people like that come in here to stir up crap. They can't stand to see people be happy. And when I've got a smile on my face all the time, and I was excited the other night because for the first time, I had one of my contacts, I can't mention who it was, Diane. Oh, I'm sorry. I had one of my contacts and she was so excited. I mean, when this lady gets excited, you cannot be around this lady or her friend. You cannot be around them and leave talking to them and not be excited. And it's the same way, guys. If you ever get a chance to talk to Papa G on the phone, do it. Because he'll tell you, I just want 5 minutes of your time. And 2 hours later, you're wondering, why are we going off so quick? And then we look and we say, wow, we talked for 2 hours. He's an amazing, knowledgeable man. And I'm sure I'd love to talk to Janet and I'd love to talk to Betty and Bill and all of you. And we're going to get that chance someday. But right now, let's just keep ascending upward and not let them bring us down. No, 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 no. Woo, woo. So I'm going to get up and I'm going to say the Pledge of Allegiance. And then I'm going to come back and tell you what was said. And didn't bother me a bit. And then I'm going to come back and talk to the kids, try to put a show together, talk about some things, and just have some fun. It's Friday night. I remember when this used to be a great night for me. Friday used to be great because I was at the bar with my friends. And that was fun, because when you work sometimes 60, 70, 80 hours in a week, and you get that couple of hours on Friday night, and you got 30 or 35 people that you work with that they're closer to you than some of your family now. In my case, 2 of them was family. Then my nephew started work, and 3 of them was family. But truthfully, the people that we worked with for 30 years, we were all family. And to this day, 20 years later, we're still family. And that's what makes and sets apart Patriot 5, Patriot 6, and family. Name me another show out there. They may be shows out there. There's a guy out there that he will not start his show until he's got 1,200 people. Now, followers, he doesn't even have 1,200 people. He has to count on his friends' people to come in. And I was on a show one night, and they was running 20 minutes late. And he looked and he says, we got 1,150. We're going to give it 5 more minutes to get to 1,200. Why? Why do you want to take the people who's courteous enough to give up time of their life? Why do you want to take them and do something like that too? Why do you want to mistreat people? Well, it is what it is. So let's get into the show. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have you heard?
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away.
Oh, Dad, I said, no, that's him. I love you. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. We're just as it was. But I said, you tell me twice the other day. I said, I won't talk to you twice. I call me twice in one day. I said, you tell me that you were going to that element and they got this guy lined up and they're bringing a new pitcher here because the other pitcher got injured. So they're giving that guy all the time in the world to warm up.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee,
and I said,
across the plains of Texas, over the sea to shining sea. From Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say,
I do that when you want. I got the couple in the school. And I wanted to be in the bottom of the school. I took the classes. I don't want to go back. I should have given up.
Next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt of this land.
Huh? Well, what's the boy time? They got Canadian coming up before the team. If they were 3-7, why should they be back? 3-7. If they go 3-7, what is they're going to go 5-5? They'll have to be my coach. Well, yeah, they'd be on down. And the guy's just a little bit of a certain thing. Well, what are they talking about? He said, no, right now the contract is on the division of Canada, and you should be on it. They just don't want to go on. If they can get that news to know, they can say, guys, they do it. Because he's got 3.5 years. Proud to be an American. God bless the USA.
You don't need a speaker. Your phone.
I got my USA things on today, and everything is good to go.
Just as this young mother
it's this young mother. Oh, and they just didn't want to let me go. Please release me. Let me go. So, I'm going to talk to the kids first. I'm going to talk to the kids first, and I'm going to get that out of the way. And as I said, guys, before starting to talk like Wolfie. Hey, guys, I'm sorry, guys. But, guys, sometimes these things happen, guys.
2 minutes.
Huh?
Yeah. Gotta wait around 2 more minutes to see if we get more people.
Yeah. Ron says I need to sit here for 2 more minutes. So we'll see if we can get some more people. But hey, Tony, how you doing? And Jeffrey and Soretta, Johnny, Papa G, I've already said hi to you. Oh, Janet, always Janet forever.
Ask Janet if Mr. C was good today.
CA 1001. Hey, Janet, if you don't mind, was Mr. C good today? Was he on Mark Z? I wanted to get up and actually watch him or listen to him today. But I have a hard time getting up just for Mark Z. I do. Mark is knowledgeable. Mark has turned himself into a pretty decent guy. But, doing this show, and I know people in this show, and I know people that used to be in the show that they just don't come on anymore. They're struggling. They're homeless. They're people, family members are dying. And doing this show, I just get aggravated because there's a song, If I Could Turn Back Time, if I could find a way, if I could turn back time, and when certain channels like maybe here, maybe FB, maybe other ones that when I was putting my videos on these channels, I was approached and they said, hey, do you want to advertise? And what do you mean? Well, we can make sure you have X amount of viewers. I said, well, how many? Well, what about 10,000? I said, man. I said, well, it won't cost you anything and you can make money. And that's where they got me, Janet and Larry. That's where they got me because I can make money. And we could use it. Notice what I said, CA and David. We could use it, Papa G. And if I could turn back clock time, I would go to them 3 or 4 places. And if each of them want to give me 10,000, and what would happen? They're going to pay these people X amount of money, but they have to come in and watch every video. So that would have meant I could have had as many as 40 and 50,000 people watching my videos after they was done, because they would start off with a commercial thing. And then during the show, an hour show, they would probably have 3 or 4, maybe 5. You have to watch the commercial for at least. So they make so much money in advertising that we could have been making $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month, maybe more. But I never wanted to take money from anybody. And that's, Janet and Larry Smith and David and CA and Tony. That is the whole thing. But if I'd have known it was going to go this long, if I'd have known we were going to go through all of this, I think I'd turn back time and I would do it. Not just for the money for me and Ron to help us, but just think if we was making from all of these places giving us 10, 15, 20,000 viewers. Maybe them viewers would turn into more viewers and we might end up with 100,000 views every show. And we might be making 6, 7, 8,000. And maybe CA, and I'm not picking anybody out. I'm just calling names, CA or Tony or Janet, David, Papa G. Maybe you need $1,000, $2,000 because you're hurting. And we would have it in our fund. And anybody who would need anything, we could help. That is the kind of ways you can make money in these things. Not the way I mentioned Mark Z and that because Ron asked me to ask Janet if Mr. C was on and how he did, Dean and Maria. I watched Mark Z. People used to take up donations. They used to send him hats. They used to send him shirts. He looked like a ragamuffin. He didn't have a pot to piss in. Excuse my saying, but he didn't. But then all of a sudden, he started bringing these people on. These people that started generating money. He found out if someone wanted to ask a question, they raised their hand. And he could make money every time he answered a question. And now he's traveling all over the place. He has money coming out. People like that do not care in the patriotism movement. They do not care in what's going on because they're settled in. The Three Stooges, that's on Tuesday and Thursday night. The Three Stooges last night, the things that they were talking about, they don't have a clue of what's going in. Their handlers say this. What? We've been saying this for 10 years. And now they think it's news. And the great part about it is not only do they think it's news that's worthy of us knowing, but now one of the Three Stooges is going to go and start a program and sell it. Now the other stooge, he knows more about the special beds, but he's told he can't talk about it. Everybody else can talk about the special beds. This guy had not talked about special beds. I've been following him for 15 years, and he never talked about special beds until just recently, and now he knows more than anybody. And I didn't come on here to have a pick on these people's thing. I came on here to show that our family is the one that we are Patriot 5, Patriot 6, and family. We don't care how many people show up. We're doing the show with or without a bunch. And we're the only group that talks to the kids. And Super Jimmy, it's good to see you back. Your messages every day to your mommy, your little sister that you never got to know, or your little baby that you never got to know, and your big brother Larry. What a tragic thing of events has gone. But I'm going to tell you something, guys. And I want every kid and I want every person in here to listen. Everybody knows I talk about a girl in the Ukraine. Her name is Julia. She's a psychologist. She works with kids, but also has to work with adults because of the war. Sometimes they need a little talking to too. And I've been talking to her about Jimmy's sister, his oldest sister, Gracie. Gracie just turned 16 the other day, and she didn't even want to party because in the last 2 years, this little girl has lost her mom, who her mom always said, Gracie, I'll be here for your sweet 16. There is not a more important birthday to a little girl than her sweet 16th birthday. And anybody, if you've ever seen a picture of Gracie, Jimmy, you should post a picture of Gracie on our Telegram site because this little girl is drop dead gorgeous. But the pain and anguish that this little girl has went through. And now to make matters worse, a girl that she had taken on as what she thought was her best friend found out was nothing but a manipulator to the family. She is giving up. She says everybody she loves, she's losing. So I was talking to Julia this week in the letter. And I want you guys, Bill Woods and John, Papa G, Jeffrey, Tony, I want you guys to listen. All you kids, I want you to listen. I said, what can we do for Gracie to help her get her out of her down mood, her mood that she doesn't think anybody cares? And her answer was, tell her every morning, this is just one thing. Every morning she gets up and goes into the bathroom. Every morning she gets up. She looks at herself in the mirror and says, I'm a beautiful young woman. I'm a beautiful soul. And yes, I went through some hard times, but things are going to get better because I have people who love me still and care and want me to be the happy, beautiful little girl I am. And that's what she told me. But I'd also ask her, is there other things? And in my letter today, what she said today is also tell her if she's going to talk to herself in the mirror, if she's going to hype herself up and get ready for the day in the mirror. And it doesn't matter if it's in the morning. She can go in when she's feeling blue because all she has to do is just look in the mirror and talk to herself and remind herself it's going to get better. The people who left her, that was God's choice, not hers. She's done nothing wrong. She's a beautiful little girl with a beautiful soul. And in doing so, I said, what else could she do? And Julia told me something, guys, and I really want everyone, the kids and everyone, to hear this because I tried it today because I got aggravated at something and I tried it. She said, when something goes wrong, go in and talk to yourself like that. And when you do, then look over, take a couple steps to the right or left, wherever your toilet is, walk over and say, I'm not letting you take over my life, and flush it down the toilet. Just flush it away. And you'll feel an urge come over you like, wow, nothing's going to stop me now. I got down today. I got very disappointed today on something. And I did it. I flushed it down the toilet. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, Julia, it worked. I feel great. I got it out of my system. We don't have to yell. We don't have to scream. We don't have to cuss. So I just wanted to share this with everyone here, but the kids. So Jimmy, if you're watching the show, Gracie, I hope you're watching the show. And Jimmy, if she's not, make sure she watches this show because she's a beautiful little girl who has many people on this show, who has many people around the world that love her and is praying for her happiness. Patriot 11. I'm disappointed I haven't heard from you, but I promise you, Patriot 11, and I promise all of you kids, I'll never flush any of yous down the toilet. See, you can have fun with it. It's a great idea. Now, the information I just give you, you go to a shrink and they're going to charge you more than the insurance will be ready to pay. You don't have the pressures. You just listen to what people who have knowledge have accomplished. This is a woman 5,000 miles away trying to help a little girl and other people that she don't know. How many of you, the next time you're going to get mad, the next time you're going to get upset and disappointed, how many of you are going to walk into the bathroom and flush it down the toilet? I am. It's religiously, but then again, I have different feelings for this young lady, and I know who she is. Patriot Karate Kid and Patriot Wyatt Earp. I don't think you kids ever get aggravated. But I'm just wondering, I see my grandkids, and I see 1 minute my grandkids are they are this so happy together. The song says, so happy together. Imagine me and you and me. They're so happy. And the next minute they're fighting and they're yelling in there, Mommy, he did this to me, Mommy. The biggest tattletales in the world. I'm just wondering, Wyatt Earp and Karate Kid, are you guys like that? Because I don't think Mommy and Daddy will let you do that. And then you got Patriot Princess, our queen, and her brother Wyatt. I think I got it right. No. I'm having a brain fart, guys. I'm having a brain fart. I got the wrong name. I apologize. Hunter, her brother Hunter. I've never seen these two in pictures that they're not smiling. The only picture I ever seen of Patriot Princess, our queen, that she wasn't smiling, she was playing baseball, and all you could see was the number on her back. Number 3, Janice's favorite number 3. All you could see is the backside and then her butt. So in a way, I guess she was smiling, everyone. Oh, I'm on a roll tonight. Patriot Boogs, Boogaloo, Boogaroo, and Boogie. I just want to know who taught Grandpa John, who taught Grandpa Stickman how to do all of them stickmen. Boogs, I believe you're the oldest. 14 now. Do you have a boyfriend? Come on, Grandpa John, let me notice you have a boyfriend yet. You're a very beautiful young lady, as all the kids are very, very cute and handsome. Patriot Little Leona and Little Elan, I have not seen much lately about you guys, but still you're part of the family. And when I talk about part of the family, I was telling a story today, or the other day. I was in the store and I was telling the story. Someone asked me, why do you smile so much? I said, because whenever I go out, I always try to make at least 10 people smile that day. And I told them, for the people who's been with me a long, long time, I told them about the story about a little boy that used to follow us. His mom used to follow us till she decided to leave when another group, and that's fine. But his name was Patriot Smiley. And do you remember the night he came on and we had a big group? We had 150, 200 people. That's back when we used to get sometimes 400, 500, 600 in a video a night. And he come on and he started talking, and he was so happy that he was able to talk on Patriot 5, Patriot 6, and Patriot Smiley. He was smiling. And all of a sudden I said, hey guys, everybody give a thumbs up and a smile for him. And I'm telling you, over here in the chat, it just exploded with smiles. And his mom told me he went to bed and he was the happiest little boy in the world because he was part of something. He was part of something. And I miss that young man, along with Patriot Haley. Patriot Haley used to get on the phone with her mommy and sing songs to me. Sometimes I didn't even understand the songs, but they were so cute the way she would sing them. And I miss these kids. And, even though they're gone and their family doesn't follow us no more, I still love them just like they're part of our family, and they always will be. When everything gets done and we buy the ranch so Patriot 11 can teach everybody how to ride horses, when they can do that, it's going to be a glorious day. And when I talk about riding horses, because I've been looking at ranches, I've been doing things that we need to do. And then the other day I get a letter from Julia, And the picture that she shows me, she's sitting there petting a horse. And I told her, I didn't know you liked horses. And I told her the story about Patriot 11. And she says, oh, I can't wait to get there and meet that young man. Because she says, maybe I love horses, but I've never really ridden them a lot. And I want him to teach me how to ride the horses. So see, guys, this is going international now. And it's going to. But still, we're proud. Whoop, wrong one. We're proud of the USA. We're proud to be an American. Patriot going back into her country, the Ukraine. Patriot Cutie Pie and Patriot 17. I've told you the story why he's Patriot 17. It's Ron's favorite number. And Ron, it should have been Patriot 5 and Patriot 17. But I didn't give Ron the name. You guys chose Patriot 6 for him. I remember you guys got together one day when we were the good sized group. And I said, Ron's coming on as my partner. And you guys chose the name Patriot 6, but he would have rather been Patriot 17. So now this young man has it. These are kids that are so excited about possibly coming to the USA very soon because they want to know what it's like to walk in the yard, to play in the yard, to go up and get a soda pop at the store, to just do anything and not be looking over their shoulders like this for fear that there are soldiers back there that might start shooting it all of a sudden. They've lived in a war zone for the last 4 years, and it's time it ends. Patriot super gymnast. Well, super gymnast who is now in acting classes, who is now in cheerleading camp, who is now in gymnastics, who I can't keep up with her. I've been home all week by myself. I thought they'd come over swimming. I've kept my swimming pool immaculate. My son is going to be so proud of me when he comes home because the only thing that happened was the hoses sprang a leak, but it wasn't my fault. My son forgot to turn them back on. And when he told me to turn them back on, boom, it popped a leak. So I'm so proud of myself because I was able to take care of everything and keep everything the right way. Patriot super gymnast, she's everywhere. And she fights all the time. I'm telling you, she fights all the time with Patriot small gymnast because Patriot small gymnast loves her bigger sister so much that she's always around her. She's always trying to learn from her. And I think one of the reasons they fight is because, say, Patriot super gymnast is doing all these things. She's really good. And I'm not bragging her up because she's my granddaughter, but she's all of a sudden emerged as the cheerleader that the coaches are coming to help the girls. She's taken over the captain of the cheerleaders. And now here's super gymnast who is just 6 years old. And she was named captain of the 6 years old because she's doing things that super gymnast is doing. And the other girls are just standing there like, how do you do that? You do it because she emulates her sister all the time. And they argue and they fight and they bicker and they just go at each other all the time. But boy, if someone says something or does something to either one of them, they're the first ones in line to make it stop. Patriot Small Hank and Patriot Kira, they're right now. Got one more day of vacation. They'll be home tomorrow night. It's hard to believe that these kids are going back to school in about 2.5 weeks. Where did the summer go? And then I'll finish the kids off with Patriot 7, my grandson, Liam. He's went from baseball to fishing to baseball again, to the All-Stars, to the tournaments. He's done it. He should have rested, but now he's in 5 days a week, 2-hour-a-night football practices. But he's the young kid on the team. They have age groups, and he's at the youngest age. So he's going from a Super Bowl champion last year to a kid that may not play. But all of a sudden, the coaches are taking him aside. And literally, at the end, when they get together and they do their rah, 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 he was chosen to do the rah, rah, rah because he listens and he wants to learn. Will he play a lot at running back? We don't know. Last year, we didn't even know he was a running back. Kid went down hurt. He filled in. And over the next 5 games, he scored 14 touchdowns and led the team to the Super Bowl. Yes, I'm proud of him. but I'm also more proud of him at the fact that he won't give in. He wants to play. But we set him down and we said, Liam, you have to understand there's 11 players on offense, there's 11 players on defense positions, and there's a kicking game. Liam is now pretty much taken over. He will be the guy who kicks the ball off to start the game and after touchdowns. They had a kid that's a year older than him that was a kicker last year. The kicker looked and said, there's no way I can compete with him, because Liam gets out and he's got 5 or 6 footballs that I bought him, that his mom bought him, that his grandmother's bought him, and people has just bought him. He's got 5 or 6 footballs, and he gets out in the yard and he kicks the ball 50 times a day or more. On Sunday, when there's no one using the practice field, they go over and he kicks them through the bars. And yesterday in practice, he got to kick, and he kicked 2 of 4. Last year's kicker missed all 4. And I'm not saying this because he's better. It's just he's more determined. I just hope the day comes that he either chooses football or he chooses baseball, because baseball he'll be playing in the summer up until the spring when they go to school. Then football starts. Then it's basketball. So the only time he's going to have off is basketball, because then in the spring it's in the spring it's baseball again, and then back to the summer it's baseball again. And the kid needs to get a little rest. So that concludes tonight's version of the kids. I hope you guys liked it. I know you guys have had plenty of time. David and Jeffrey, John and Janet and Ian, Larry. Did I miss anyone? John, read the story John just said. John just read a story. My parents had their honeymoon in a cabin in Canada that belonged to a great aunt. And then my dad got shipped off to the Korean War, and 9 months later, I came into the scene. That's a great story, John. The only story I got like that I can compare is Ron sitting over here, Patriot 6. My best friend at the time, when Ron was in the military, Ron went to Germany and France. When my brother Russ went to Vietnam, they wouldn't let 2 brothers be in Vietnam at the same time. But my best friend at the time was a kid by the name of Johnny Dale Phillips. His brother went to Vietnam. It was only a 9-month tour. He got home, kind of met up with his fiance, had fun for a few days, and was shipped to Vietnam. 21 days before his 9-month tour was over, he did not walk home.
Oh.
He came home in a box. 4 days after we buried him, his daughter was born. So I understand the story about the afternoon delights. But thank you for telling that story. Hey, Beth Shaw, how are you doing? Storming in South Carolina tonight. We had an off day today. We had a little bit of rain, but mostly it was just cool. It was very comfortable. Boy, we went through some heat. Maybe they're finally deciding to control it. Hi, One Voice. Maybe they're deciding to control it and give us a little leeway. Bill, the question you're asking about the Save America Act and the Clarity Act before taking a 30-day vacation. From what I'm hearing, if they don't, 4547 will get it done without them. It is a done deal. It's just, are we going to do it the constitutional way, the way it's set up, or is 4547 going to have to revoke his power? But it is going to be done, everything I'm hearing. But it's a good question. So, where are we now? I really don't know. Let's see. I know there's some good things going on out there, but Sky Prince, the reason I was a few minutes late going on because Ron was telling me Sky Prince came out with something and it was only 5 minutes long. I wanted to listen to it. Sky Prince is on talking about the special beds. And in talking about them, she's saying she has official word what's going to happen. Now, when someone tells me they got official words what's going to happen, they're just blowing smoke up our butts. I got nothing against Sky Prince, but here's the official thing. If I go to the Redemption Center, I can ask people. Remember, it was supposed to be I could ask 6, but now I can ask people. Family, immediate family, anybody that lives in my household. So my son, my daughter-in-law, my 2 grandkids, I can send them to the beds. I can invite Ron and Ron can go. But now Ron, living alone, can't invite anybody because he's living alone. Now Ron is going to be my right-hand man in humanitarian projects. I'm repeating to you what Sky Prince says, but I'm also going to give my personal opinion. I don't believe that's going to be true because someone who's going to be so influential, I can't believe that they're going to say it. Now, I can invite my brother Russ, but the only one my brother Russ can invite is his wife because they're the only ones in the household. I can invite my nieces, my sister. My sister has no one, so she can't invite anybody. But my nieces and my nephews, my sister's kids, my brother's daughters, I can invite all them. And who's ever living in our household, they can ask. You can also ask anybody that you want that's going to work with the projects and that. So I can go to my son-in-law, his sister, and I can invite her and say, I want you to work the projects with me. She can invite her husband and her 2 daughters and her one little daughter. She's 16 years old and she's been through more surgeries than her age is. She needs the beds bad. So that's how we can do it. I can invite Grandma Bo. But Grandma Bo can only invite her daughter that lives with her. Now, she's saying if you don't live in a household, but you can ask as many people as you want. And then I'm just going by what she's saying, Tony and One Voice and Cindy. Good to see you, Cindy. Jeffrey, Larry Smith. I'm just going what she's saying about Tier 4B because then she got into the Admiral group with Mauricio. And if you ever notice, the only one that talks about Mauricio is Sky Prince and Wolverine. You know, Mauricio is no different than us. I'm going to tell you, he's a man, I am assuming. And I'd be willing to bet you he puts his pants on the same way I do, one leg at a time. But now maybe he's Superman and he flies into his pants. Maybe he has someone that zips him up for him. I don't know. I'm just saying, I've never seen a group of people from down under that everything is what they say. I do believe that things are going to happen, but also, if I come to you, Ian Bell, and I say, Ian, I'm going to invite you. I want you to get on the bed. Now, I'm going to give you another one. We used to have a gentleman following us. He's in a nursing home now. It's Michael. Myrna, if you was on, you could tell him who Michael was. We used to do video calls, and Michael was there. Man, he had no shame. He had a little bit overweight. He had no shame. While we're doing a video call, here's Michael laying on his bed in his tighty whities and his white t-shirt. I don't think I've ever seen Michael that he was dressed properly. But it didn't bother me. It didn't bother none of us. But Michael is in desperate need. Right next door. If I walk out Ron's house, his front door, I walk down the walkway of his porch, and I walk straight across the yard. I would go to a house that a man is 2 years younger than me. He's in a nursing home now. He's got tubes everywhere. I mean, everywhere. He can't even pee by himself. He can't get out of bed. He is a prime candidate. I can ask him. Because, see, when I rebuild this town and I reopen that sportsman's club, he's going to be running it as long as he doesn't get to where he thinks he's too cocky. Because, see, people work in our group, we're working out of love and kindness. And this is, he's got the same last name as Ron and me. And everybody used to think we were family because his mom and my mom were best friends. But they're Italian. Now, is there any Italians in here in the group tonight? Because I'm telling you, cooking, oh, I love to go to their house to eat. When his mom was alive, I loved to go there. But this man just give up. Seattle, 1975. Are you new Seattle, 1975? I don't believe I've ever seen you on here. So that's the news we have about the beds. But now I want to talk a little bit more about the beds because there's a site on Telegram, and the site might just have 3 initials called JFK. And everybody's saying, you can ask Patriot Savior, Patriot Diane, myself. Everybody's saying he's the real one. I've actually got responses from him, and he said yes. I've told him the story about how I've never, ever believed. And I'll go on there, and I'll tell other stories about this. When you stop and think about it, he was following in Abraham Lincoln's footsteps. Now, you're going to say, well, look at 100 years apart. Yes. But I'm going to ask everybody a question. I'm going to ask everybody a question, and I want you to give me an honest answer. Do you think Abraham Lincoln is still alive? Do you think his death was staged because he was really the beginning starter with a group that was going to save America and take it away from the cabal? Do you think he is? Because I've asked that question to some people the other night, and I got a resounding yes. And why not? When I talk to a certain person that might be called the 3 letters, but with a junior behind it, he asked me a question. He says, Patriot 5, I like your name. And I said, well, thank you. I like yours. He says, what if I was to tell you that me and my family were never on that plane? What if I was to tell you that it was staged? What if I was to tell you that we're all healthy and we're about ready to come back? And I says, I would tell you it's about time. And he come back and he said, well, why would you say that? Do you really believe I am? I said, well, let me tell you something. There's a video out there, sir. And in that video was made in 1962. You remember with them old cameras, old cameras, black and white, and everything's jumping all over. And the president of the United States was talking. And in that video, he said, DJT 4547 would be the 45th president of the United States of America, come back and save America, save the world, and make America great again. But he's going to need help. His son, Junior, was 2 years old at that time. He said, my son will fake his death in the 1990s in a plane crash, and he will come back and work with DJT, and he will become the vice president, and then he will take over the presidency when DJT becomes a king in the world. What course are we on? Now, I can tell you guys this story here, and you guys understand it because you've heard it. But you go on some places. If I was to go to my sister Rhoda or my brother Russ, if I was to go to my son and his wife and tell that story, they'd look at me and think I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So in talking to these people, it's just an amazing. There is on Senior's Telegram page, there's a lady on there that I clicked on her name because I seen she was always on and she was answering questions and she was doing things. I went and I talked to her when I clicked on her picture. And I talked individually. I said, so are you a moderator? And she said, yes. And she says, would you do me a favor? And I said, what's that? She said, would you keep posting your dreams about our president? Because yes, he has been on the special bed. And yes, he is still with us. And yes, he can't wait to show the world that we won, that we won. There's where we're at. Now, last night, I seen that someone had posted something on Frank 26. I don't know if you guys seen this video, but guys, I want you to pay attention to this. On Frank 26 last night, he's talking to this lady. I don't remember her name. I'm going to call her Connie. I think.
Mrs. C.
Huh?
Mrs. C.
Mrs. C. Mrs. C. So I said, Connie, I'm okay. He called her Mrs. C. And he says, Mrs. C, can you hear me? And she blurted out, I can hear you fine, Frank. And he kind of, anybody who ever watches Frank, he has a certain way of making gestures with his face in that. He has a laugh that's infectious. That's one of the reasons I like to watch him. And he says, Mrs. C, you have a bank story. Can you tell us the bank story? And she said, yes, I can. And I mean, Frank is just so blown out of the water at this lady. And he said, well, how are you feeling right now? She said, actually a little nervous. And he said, well, you certainly don't sound like it. And he went on, he said, would you tell your bank story? And she said, well, I went into this bank and she called it by name. I think it was Chase or Chase. Yeah, Ron says Chase. And she went in there and she asked to talk to the branch, to the manager that, you know, takes care of the money, that knows more about it. Well, he's busy. Well, can I talk to someone? Well, no, they're busy. But they got him to the branch manager. And as they're talking, the branch manager, she's asking questions and she's thinking, and she says, she looks at the branch manager and says, do you know anything about Dinar? The branch manager says, yes, we do. And she said to Frank, she said, Frank, I was flabbergasted. She said, my eyes got going. She took a friend in and they were dressed really nice. And she had everything planned and what she was going to say. But now all of a sudden, she finally got a yes, I do. And she looked at the branch manager and she says, well, what you know about this, do you think that they will revalue on August 1st? And he says, well, actually, no. And she got a little depressed. And he said, no, because see, Saturday, the 1st of August, she didn't say Saturday, she said the 1st of August. And he said, actually, no, because the 1st of August is a Saturday. And truthfully, Saturdays are not actually a working day. They're only a half a day. And it has to be. But he said, you are on the right track. But you're just a little bit late in when they're going to do it. And she said, I got so excited. And you could just hear in this lady's voice. As in when you hear me get excited, you can hear in the voice that something was really amazing here. Something was unbelievable. It was the cream of the crop. And he kept talking to her. And he kept telling her things that she wanted to hear. And I'm telling you, there's a saying. I could tell this lady was so excited. She was about ready to pee her pants. And Frank is just sitting there just laughing and just, if you've never watched Frank, I am saying he's not the greatest person in the world. I like him because he's excitable. He laughs. Sometimes he laughs and you can't understand what he says, but he makes it entertainment. And he says, is there anything else you can say? And she said, no, because you told me I couldn't tell the exact date. And he says, well, what if I tell the exact date? And she said, but Frank, you said I couldn't tell. And she says, I'm not saying you're going to tell. What if I tell? And she said, well, do you want to get in trouble? And Frank says, well, how about if I do it this? How about if I tell them that the exact date is before August 1st, that this is going to happen before the end of this month? And she said, that's a great thing. And Frank said, I got a bank story. And she goes, okay. Do you want to hear it? And this lady, I'm telling you, I would love to hear her just on a show, to listen to her on a show, because nobody would be sleeping. The people in chat would be listening. She was that excitable. And Frank told his bank story Almost the exact same thing. Someone went into a bank, they got a bank manager. Now, in both of these cases, the bank manager is saying, yes, we know about the dinar. Yes, they're going to exchange them. But in both cases, both banks also made the statement. In both cases, both banks made the statement that it's a done deal. They made the statement that, yes, we're where we want to be and things are going to happen. But then the banks approached the lady and approached the other friend that Frank knows and wants their information so their financial advisor can contact them when it's time, so they can come in and sit down. They can discuss what they've got, and they can already start to put together a game plan. A game plan. Now, I started Wednesday night show off with saying I had one of my contacts just did a video call with me, very excited, and give me some very exciting news. And I was elated to do that because in all the years I've done these shows, I've never had a contact call me just before the show. Excitement that it's a done deal. It's ready to go. We could get the 800 numbers that night. We should get the redemption centers either the next day or the day after. And I was excited. And all I was repeating is something that my contact told me. I went later after the show was over the next day, and I looked at some of the comments that you're allowed to make when you watch the show when the show's not live in the first person. I didn't get an 800 number. It didn't start today or tomorrow. And he was so negative. And it just breaks my heart that I come on here, I'm laughing, I'm smiling, I'm doing everything that I can to make you guys happy and keep your vibrations up. And then one person does something. Remember today, I never commented to him. I almost just ripped him a new one. My feelings is if I'm telling you something, it's doesn't come true. I'm like Judy Bidington. When I report something, especially what I reported the other night, I believed it 100% to be true. But if you don't, do your own research. Come to your own conclusions. And I got thinking today when I was thinking about this man saying this or woman, I don't know what it was. And I got thinking about it. So I got thinking about Julia. And I went into the bathroom when I was thinking about this person making this comment. And I just flushed the toilet and said, it just doesn't matter. I looked at myself in the mirror. I had my Ralphie smile on. And I said, it doesn't matter. There's some people the ending is not going to be for. There's some people that are praying we never get to the end. They don't want the end because they're scared to death that they're going to have to admit that John and Janet and David and Jeffrey and Tony and Ian, they're going to have to admit that Ron and Ralph, we were right. We told you so. But we're not going to go and push it in your face. Yes, I do still have I told you so hat, a couple of them. And there's a few people in my family that when we have a get together, I'm going to wear my I told you so hat. But I kind of like this hat here. I kind of like this shirt here. I'm proud to be an American, and I'm proud to be where we're at. And Janet, I believe 100% in Larry Smith that we're right there. In my letter last night to Julia, the last one I'll write this week until Sunday night, and she'll get it Monday. In my letter, I told her we're really close to finally getting to be together, of finally getting to meet and to see if what we think we have, we really have. And I'm telling you, when she wrote me back today, she said she literally read my letter 3 times. And each time she went through a pack of tissues, crying tears of happiness and joy. People, we have no clue of what's going on in the sadness that people around the world is going through. But all I can tell you, I'm going to use a line from a very famous song. Nothing's going to stop us now, because we will not stop believing, because we will not give in, we will not surrender, and we will not comply. So all I'm going to ask you is this weekend, just keep your vibrations up. If you get down, flush it down the toilet. If that don't work, send me a message. I talk a lot to Robert Ford. He sends me a lot of things. And Robert, I owe you a message. You asked me a question about currency the other day, Robert. I don't even know if you're on. I haven't seen you, but you'll watch this. You asked me a question. I'm going to get you back to the answer on that. I actually have it. I thought I sent it, and then I looked today when I was looking at your messages, and I looked today and seen I hadn't sent it. So I'm going to revive it a little bit. I'm going to give you some information, and then we'll discuss what you asked me. But I thank you for trusting me. Now, I want to tell everybody, this video tonight is not made for kids. If kids watch it, they watch it under the discretion of their parents, legal guardians, or grandparents, whatever, great-grandparents. Or also the music we play tonight, I have no legal rights to. The group has no legal rights to. We do it as kind of a theme. We've been doing it for a couple of years now. You know, it works so well for us that the President of the United States decided to start mocking us. The only difference is I won't get up and dance. But then I guess he's the one that dances to the YMCA. And I never could do it. I can dance to the YMCA. I just can't do the Y and the M and the C and the A. I mean, I have enough time remembering how to dance to move my legs and my arms a little bit. To have to make letters out of it, that doesn't work. I do want to announce one thing that I talk a lot about this because it means a lot to me. I was listening to a video the other day, and it was by Donnie. And I've talked about this video before. And Donnie announced right then and right there, he announced that the war in them two countries is over. You know, the Ukraine and Russia. He announced that it is over. The treaty has been signed. All they was waiting for is for the Ukraine to give back a part of land that was always Russia's to begin with. And I guess they've agreed to it. So there's going to be no more killing. Oh, you're going to see on mainstream media news that it's going and it's going strong, but it's not, guys. And when you can tell someone that you care for who lives in that country that it's over, when you can share with them the reading part, because she can't open audios over there. But when you can share what Donnie said in the reading part and she can read it. She said she went through 2 packages of tissues crying tears of joy. She shared it with her mom and her best friend and the kids. She shared it with friends at school where she works. You can have no idea what it means when you have a war in your country and now you're told it's over. Over 850,000 men and women, soldiers, lost their life. That has nothing to say about the people who were innocent bystanders that was in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's 850,000 soldiers, men and women, that will be not sitting at the dinner table with their mom and dad, their wives, their brothers or sisters, will not be sleeping in their beds. That's why we're coming in with a humanitarian project for the children. We're going to build it. We're going to build it, and we're going to show these people how they can adopt children. Will they be their son and daughter that they lost? No. Will they be their brother and sister or their husband and wife? No. But it can ease the pain for the parents to have a child sitting in that chair and sleeping in that bed. And it will ease the pain of the children for being able to have a bed to sleep in, to have someone that loves them. And 20 years from now, when these children are old enough, and when I say 20 years from now, guys, there is kids out there 17, 18, 19 years old that still need homes. They still need families. And if you lose an 18-year-old son or a 19-year-old son to the war, but you can adopt an 18 or 19-year-old, you're just in the same vicinity. But see, the thing of it is, when the war ends, when it's announced it ends, there will be no more wars, because just last week, the United States and China finally got together and they signed it. Now all 209 nations have now signed, and we're ready to go to gold back standard. We're ready to go to everything. Nothing's going to stop us now. I didn't even get into Judy Bidington tonight. I didn't get into other things, but I put the show on as best I could. I hope you guys liked tonight's show. We're going to end it with a prayer. And then after the prayer, we're going to say goodnight and have a great weekend. And I do, guys, if you have problems this weekend, flush it down the toilet. And then look at yourself in the mirror and said, it gone. Dear Lord, as we come to the end of tonight's show, thank you for standing by our side. Thank you for being with us in this show and showing all the love, care, and compassion to all the people who decided to show up tonight. Lord, as we come to here and talk to you, we pray to you that the wars are over. We pray to you that we're ready to go to everything we're ready to do, and we're ready to take your world to where you've always wanted to be. We're ready, Lord, to wipe out all the evil and live in nothing but happiness, harmony, and love for the rest of our life. As we come to you, talk to you, and pray to you through our Savior, your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen and amen. Good night, everyone. Happy weekend, and we'll see you on Monday night. Maybe we'll get some good news and see you early. Talk to you later.